Hey everybody, I got something special for you today. I want to tell you about the 10 attributes of the perfect bear bait location and stand. And I gotta admit that I have never found a spot that has all 10 of these features, but some of my absolute best bear bait locations that have been productive every year, year after year, have 7, 8, or so of these attributes. So I'm always looking for these things when I'm choosing bait locations. So let's go through them and think about your good bait spots and think about when you're out looking for great locations. These are the types of things that you want to look for. Number one is the obvious one, of course. You got to be in an area with a good bear population and it has all the things that bears like. For example, food, water, cover, security, low human interference, and so forth. Those are the types of things that you're looking for the general area that you're going to choose. Now, the second thing is you want your bear bait to be on fairly high ground. Remember that your scent will pool if you're in a low area, swampy area, or something like that. So we're going to talk about water and swamps here in a minute, but the main thing is you want to get up into an area where your scent when you're hunting is going to be in a fairly predictable direction, and that the scent of your lures that you're using to draw the bears in won't be pooling in an area and not spreading out as much as you would like. So you want to kind of look at getting on a high ground like a ridge. Okay, number 3 is really important, and that's you got to be near water. Okay, and that could be a swamp, a creek, a ditch, a stream, a lake, or anything like that. But just always keep in mind that during the period where you're hunting, the bears are in a state of hyperphagia, meaning they're absolutely gorging themselves on as many calories as they can get, and so they need a lot of water to digest all that food they're eating. And the second thing is that they need to keep cool. They got to be in an area where they can get in a low spot and cool off, and maybe just lay in the water. A lot of times I think they pretty much lay in the water all the time on hot days. So the closer you are to water, the better chance you're going to be that the bears are going to be nearby. If the bears are hitting your bait, filling themselves up, then they got a spot where they can go spend the day, so when they're hungry, they're close by. Okay, number 4, you got to be in good cover. Now keep in mind that adult bears, particularly mature males, they just don't like to walk across open areas in the daylight, and that's particularly true when they're approaching a bait. They're always hyper cautious when they're approaching a bait, and so we want to make sure that we give them cover to stay in to get from where they're bedding to the bait location. So keep that in mind. You don't want to be in a spot where they have to cross a logging cut or an open field, or even an area of forest where there's a high canopy and open ground underneath. Give them some cover between where they're bedding and getting to your bait. Number 5 is a really important one to us as the hunters, and that is we got to have good access to it. We got to be able to get to it without any extra amount of work. We're carrying buckets, we're carrying tree stands. I don't like to drive my ATV right up to the bait. It just advertises what you're doing to too many other people. I don't want people to find my bait, and so I'm always walking the last 50 to 100 yards to my bait from where I'm parking a truck or an ATV, and so I want to be fairly close to where I can drive, nearby, not right to it, but nearby. Number 6, you want to keep the prevailing wind direction in mind. In your area of the country, there is a direction that the wind typically comes from more than any other at the time of the year when you're bear hunting. So you got to keep this in mind. Ideally, you would like to be able to hunt as many days as possible when the wind is blowing from the bait to your stand where you're sitting. So keep that in mind also as you're choosing your location. Number 7, I want to keep the tree stand in relation to the bait in such a way that I can walk past the tree to get to the bait, and then when I come in to hunt, I don't have to go to the bait. I can just walk to the tree and get up in it in my tree stand, and I don't have to leave fresh ground scent anywhere around the bait. Regarding the tree, let's go to number 8, which is I want a big tree, a nice wide tree that's wider than me, which is, okay, I'm not even going to go there, or has lots of background cover. And that's what I'm really looking for, is a tree that has background cover behind me, so I'm not skylined, and gives me an opportunity to move to draw my bow. I'm primarily a bow hunter, so this is really important to me, that I'm well hidden. My camouflage is going to work well. So I want lots of background cover on that tree stand. Number 9, I want the tree 15 to 20 yards from the bait. Once again, I said I'm a bow hunter. That's really important. So I want the tree it's going to be about 15 to 20 yards from the bait. And it's also going to be about 15 to 18 feet high. And this gives me the perfect shot angle that I can get an arrow through both lungs and have a low exit wound that's going to give me a really good blood trail. So those are important aspects of how far the tree should be away from the bait. So when I'm out choosing bait spots, I always pick the tree that the tree stand's going to be in first, and then find the spot where the bait is going to be. And of course, number 10, I've got trail cameras on all my baits, and I want a tree that's 10 to 15 feet away from where the bear is going to be standing, so I can get good pictures of them. So I've got to have a place where I can attach that trail camera, and that typically means a bear box screwed to a tree with lag bolts, because if you attach a camera to a post or something like that the bears can bend or tip over or anything like that, they're going to wreck your cameras and chew them up. So those are the 10 attributes of the perfect bear bait spot. Now you can understand why I'm telling you that I've never found the perfect one with all 10, but really good spots will have 6, 7, 8 or more of these attributes, and that's the type of things that I look for. And what I've found is that if you can find a spot with as many of these attributes as possible, you're going to have a bait that is consistently good year after year after year, and the bears feel comfortable coming there in the daylight, and that's what we want. That's the most difficult thing, is to get them there during legal shooting hours. So thanks a lot for joining me. Please subscribe, leave a comment if you'd add something to this, and we'll see you on the next video.